Hello, today's video is an update on my hair loss journey. About a year and a half ago, I shared with you I had a huge and sudden hair loss and started using the Clium hair growth system. This system uses a microneedling tool plus growth factors, exosomes, cytokines to help stimulate the hair follicle and regrow hair. The sudden and unexpected hair loss episode that prompted me to use the Clium system was unexplained. I wasn't surrounding some illness that I had or a change in diet or health. It just was out of the blue. I'd had a history of androgenetic alopecia. I just have that in my family genetically. I've been able to manage my hair loss for about 10 years after seeking a medical diagnosis using minoxidil and low-level laser light therapy. But all of a sudden I had this hair loss event and I was sort of at a loss. So I used the Clium system and then I did an update sharing with you how amazing my results were. I was blown away. Things were going great. I shared with you in the fall that I was going to restart the 6-week program.
So today is a 6-month update on my hair growth journey using a system with over 3,000 peptides, growth factors, cytokines, and exosomes. I definitely had significant hair growth. The density of my hair had improved. I got more growth along the perimeter of my hair.
And then I also shared with you at the end of that video that I might be considering stopping my minoxidil because this system was working so well, and I had heard that you could replace this system with minoxidil.
I also wanted to mention I'm not using, after this second 6-week session, minoxidil. I want to see if this system alone can maintain my hair growth. However, I am still using my low-level laser light therapy cap. I just am curious to see whether the combination of these is best for me or whether I just need the Clium system on its own.
That didn't work out. I did another video on the disaster that happened when I stopped minoxidil. I had a huge hair shed.
What in the world is going on with my hair right now and why cut it all off? My hope was to be able to discontinue the minoxidil, and I decided to do that around December.
Just quickly, my eye is fine. I just have a broken blood vessel, but I know it's a little distracting.
By mid-December, my hair started shedding like crazy. It was to the point where people were actually commenting on it. Stopping minoxidil was a huge mistake for me. As you can see, my central part is much wider than it was. The crown of my hair is much thinner and sparse. When I actually touch my hair, I can feel my scalp immediately, whereas before when I touched my hair and washed my hair, I felt hair. Now I just feel my scalp. I'm basically starting over. Why use the Clium program and minoxidil? Aren't they doing the same thing? They actually approach hair growth a little bit differently. Minoxidil increases the blood flow to help with the miniaturization of hair, reverses the miniaturization of follicles, increases blood flow around the follicle, and it stimulates the follicle movement into the anagen phase of hair growth. If you're not familiar with the 4 stages of hair growth, you have the anagen phase, which is the growth phase, and then you have the catagen phase, which is regression. So the hair follicle starts to shrink. Then you have the telogen phase, which is just kind of a rest phase, and then you have the exogen phase, which is the actual shedding event. What minoxidil does is work by blood flow. It increases the blood flow and pushes the follicle into the anagen phase, that growth phase. And it also extends the growth phase, so the hair has a chance to get a larger diameter and stay in that growth phase longer, so you have a fuller, healthier looking head of hair. The Clium system works a little bit differently.
It contains PPD6, an ingredient derived from a single red deer umbilical cord stem cell secretions, and as you can see in the diagram, these secretions include growth factors, cytokines, and exosomes. Combining the PPD6 serum with microneedling improves the absorption of the serum. And as always, you want to make sure that you consult your physician before introducing a serum like this into your routine. You may have a particular skincare condition or health condition that would preclude you using something like this, and you would never want to use this over a broken skin barrier, especially if your scalp is irritated. But the theory is that adding in these stem cell derivatives helps regulate the hair growth cycle, optimizes the follicle function, and helps manage inflammation to help reduce hair shedding.
The idea is that with hair loss, you have a dysregulated function of the 4 growth cycles. So what the Clium does is uses our cell messengers to re-regulate this cycle, keeping the hair longer in the anagen phase, getting all the cells talking to each other so that the papilla of your hair, the dermal papilla, is healthier and maintains a regular cycle of hair growth, hair miniaturization, hair resting and hair shedding so that it just fixes that whole system so it's in alignment with a healthier growth cycle. So they work a little bit differently. And now in retrospect, I realize how these two products were working synergistically to give me the best hair of my life. My hair was growing faster, it was dense, it was full, it was healthy. The picture on the left is 3 weeks after I stopped Minoxidil. About 1/3 of my terminal hair had fallen out, and since it was only 3 weeks after completing the 6-week Clium treatment, those baby hairs were hardly visible, and as you can see, my hair density has severely depleted, and my part has gotten really wide. The second picture on the right is 14 weeks after the Clium treatment and 10 weeks after restarting Minoxidil. And I'm definitely on the right track. My hair density is filling in. Unfortunately, my hair, the new baby hair, is only about 2.5 inches long. So it's definitely going to take a while to grow out, which is the reason I ultimately decided to go back to a shorter haircut.
So that kind of regrew my hair. I do not have that really wide part anymore. It looks great. I also need to mention that I have not been able to use my LED laser light therapy cap, which may be contributing to the fact that my hair isn't improving in density because the wire broke. So I had to send it back for repair, and that is now repaired. Getting back on track with my low-level laser light therapy cap, continuing to use my Minoxidil like I have for the last 10 to 12 years, and the 6-week Clium program. Figuring out your hair loss takes a village. One thing doesn't usually work. And what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. So don't get discouraged. You're going to find the combination that works for you. Definitely leave comments down below. This is a place where hopefully you can get some support. Losing hair is a very, very emotional issue. So don't hesitate to reach out. Join the Beyond 50 Skin community. So the more information we share, the more information we're going to learn.
This is a microneedling stamp. I always clean this before I use it with the alcohol pads that come with the kit. Just let it sit for a few seconds and dry while I part my hair. I'm really focusing on these side parts because they're the thinnest. Microneedle first, then I'm going to apply the serum. And you microneedle 4 times. So forward once, forward back, forward once, forward back. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of prickly and sometimes it makes me tear. It makes my nose run. My scalp is extra sensitive. So I do one section at a time. And then you just squeeze a little out. The tip is squeezy, flexible. And then I just massage it in really quickly. And then I go down and part the next section. It's a little spicy toward the front. When I get to my ear area, I switch sides. My left side is my thinner side. So I'm really hoping to increase the density on my left. Because hair has a growth cycle, you're not going to stop hair from falling out. Hair shedding is a natural process that occurs in cycles. Once I've gone to the part along my ear line, I work on my crown. My crown is also thinning. It's a typical area of thinning. All right, now that I've done the crown, I'm going to focus on the perimeter of my hair, on the hairline, because I'm definitely thinning in this area. I try very hard not to use pulled back hairstyles because that can increase thinning by pulling the hair shaft back and causing it to shed prematurely. This is definitely spicy. You can see that I still have plenty left to do the other side of my hairline and maybe do the back of my hair. The front of my scalp is really tender and I often sneeze and my eyes definitely water. But I still have enough left over to do this area in the back around the occiput on both sides, so I'm going to finish that up. I'm going to use the remainder of my serum just to spread it around my scalp and give myself a good massage. I'm dispensing this, I use fairly light pressure, so about 1 drop comes off at a time. So all done. You can see my hair is fairly saturated, so I'm just going to give it a good massage, let it dry down for the night. Now that I have all this massaged in, I'm just going to let my hair dry naturally. I'll probably put a slap cap or a sleep cap on tonight so that it doesn't transfer to my pillow. And then tomorrow morning, I'll follow up with a low-level laser light therapy LED session.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's quick update. Wishing you guys a skin-tastic and a hair-tastic day.